A bank manager named Jennifer, who was 45 years old with blonde hair, was pointing and yelling at a 16-year-old girl named Michelle Williams. Jennifer said, "No honest kid has this much money. It must be taken or fake." Michelle stayed super calm, even though everyone in the bank was staring. The bank was frozen. People stopped their work, tellers stopped typing, and customers were watching this big scene. Michelle stood up slowly, looked at Jennifer, and said in a clear voice, "Ms. Jennifer, please stop talking now." You'd think that would make Jennifer think twice, but no way. She got even louder. "You think I'm silly? I know every trick. I'm calling the police." Jennifer turned to her workers, her face red with anger. "No real teenager walks around with $15,000 unless it's bad money." The workers nodded, agreeing with her. Some customers even pulled out their phones to record. Jennifer thought she was a hero, saving the bank from a sneaky kid. But then something wild happened. Two police officers walked through the bank's glass doors. Jennifer's eyes lit up, thinking she was right. She marched toward them, pointing at Michelle. "Officers, I caught her with bad money." Officer Rodriguez, a tall man in a neat suit, looked at Michelle. Then something super surprising happened that made everyone in the bank go quiet. You could hear a feather fall. Jennifer's face turned pale as she stared in shock. Here's what's so amazing about this story, and it'll surprise you too. Why were the officers stunned to see a teenager? And what didn't Jennifer know about Michelle that was about to change everything? If you're excited by this start and want to know what happened next, keep reading because it's a story that'll make your jaw drop. If you believe everyone should be treated fairly, tell us where you're reading from. You'll get a kind reply from Storytime friends. To understand how this crazy moment happened, let's go back to earlier that morning at a coffee shop called Brew Cafe during the busy breakfast time. This is where people first started judging Michelle unfairly. Michelle walked into Brew Cafe standing tall like a soldier. She wasn't like other teens. She ordered a plain coffee, not a sugary drink. Two older women, Linda and Carol, were in line behind her, talking loudly so everyone could hear. "Kids these days think money grows on trees," Linda complained, shaking her head. Carol agreed. "Parents give them cards to spend with no hard work." Then something big happened. When Michelle paid for her $4.50 coffee with a big $100 bill, the women got suspicious, Linda whispered. But it was loud enough for all to hear. "Where's a kid like her getting that kind of money?" Carol answered quick. "Probably doing something sneaky." The coffee shop worker, Jake, looked embarrassed as he gave Michelle her change. He felt bad about the women's words. But Michelle? She stayed super cool. She put a card on the counter and said, "Williams Tutoring. If your kids need help with math or tests, call me." Then she gave Jake a $5 tip and said, "Have a great day," before walking out with her head high. Linda and Carol looked awkward, realizing they might have been wrong about her. But their words had already set a bad idea. A young girl with money must be up to no good. So, who was Michelle Williams? She was a 16-year-old whose mom, Army Captain Maria Williams, was working far away for 8 months. While most teens worried about homework or games, Michelle ran her own tutoring business, teaching younger kids math and test skills. She was super grown up with a calm and strong way about her, like her mom. That day, she was going to the bank to put in $15,000. Every penny was honest, some from her tutoring, and some was money her mom saved while working far away. Michelle was in charge of it while her mom was gone. For her, going to the bank was normal. She'd done it before, always polite and ready. Just another job for a girl used to big responsibilities. But the bank she walked into had people who judged her before knowing her story. Jennifer, the bank manager, was always looking for problems and wanted to seem important. Patricia, the 55-year-old head worker, followed Jennifer's lead without thinking. Robert, a worker in his 40s, agreed with Jennifer to make her like him. These people, except for Marcus the guard and later Sarah, were quick to think a young girl with lots of money was trouble. They didn't know they were about to make a huge mistake. Michelle walked into Primary National Bank looking neat and confident. Her papers were in a tidy folder, and she stood tall like she belonged. Marcus, the security guard who'd been in the army long ago, noticed her strong way and nodded with respect. Amy, a young worker, started Michelle's deposit but got nervous when the big amount showed on her screen. It needed the manager's okay, and Amy's hands shook as she called Jennifer over. Jennifer rushed in like she'd found a big problem. "What's happening here?" she asked sharply. Amy said it was just a normal big deposit, but Jennifer looked at Michelle and thought trouble. Michelle stayed polite. "Good morning, Miss Jennifer. Just putting money in today." But Jennifer's voice got mean. "This doesn't look normal. Where'd you get this money?" That's when things went wrong. Jennifer said, "This looks like taking money." Michelle calmly explained her tutoring business, offered to show proof, and talked about her mom's savings. She had all the right answers, but Jennifer laughed. "Tutoring? You expect me to believe that?" The bank workers started acting like a team against Michelle. Patricia said, "Jennifer's just being careful. Good job." Robert added, "This is exactly what we're taught to watch for." Even customers joined in. Mrs. Henderson, an older lady, said, "Be careful with big money like that." Tom, a man doing his own banking, nodded. "Better check than be sorry." Sarah, the assistant manager, wanted to look at Michelle's bank records, but Jennifer ignored her. Jennifer got louder. "I think this is fake money." Michelle stayed calm, giving her tutoring card and offering to call people who knew her work. But Jennifer didn't care. She'd already decided Michelle was bad. Jennifer took Michelle to a glass room called the safety area to ask more questions. The workers kept agreeing with Jennifer. Patricia said, "In my 20 years here, real money doesn't look like this." Robert added, "The story, the money, it's all suspicious." Customers even said kids shouldn't bring big money alone. Some were recording on their phones, and online comments cheered Jennifer on. Jennifer felt like a star. "I'm keeping this bank safe," she said proudly. But Michelle was amazing. Even with everyone against her, she stayed kind. When a customer got upset about the noise, Michelle helped calm them down. Imagine that, she was being blamed for no reason, yet she helped someone else. Meanwhile, Sarah found something important. She checked the bank records and saw Michelle's family was very special to the bank. She tried to tell Jennifer, but Jennifer wouldn't listen. Then Jennifer called the police saying, "Something fishy is going on." The police said she did the right thing, which made Jennifer even bolder. "This is taken or fake money," she shouted. Michelle warned her, "Ms. Jennifer, be careful what you say." That should have made Jennifer stop, but she yelled, "Don't tell me what to do, I know what's going on." The workers kept cheering her on. Marcus, the guard, felt something was wrong, but couldn't act because of his job. Then Jennifer called bigger police, the kind that catch serious bad guys. While all this happened, Michelle quietly sent a text to someone. Nobody noticed, thinking she was just texting a friend, but that text was about to change everything. Jennifer's last big accusation rang out. "You picked the wrong bank to trick." Everyone thought they were catching a sneaky kid. Workers were happy, customers were filming, and Jennifer felt like a hero. They didn't know they were about to see one of the biggest surprises ever in a bank. Then something happened that showed how unfair Jennifer was being. A 17-year-old boy named Tyler came to Amy's window with $14,000, almost the same as Michelle's money. He wore messy clothes and looked like he just woke up. Amy helped him without any questions. No one asked where his money came from or for any papers. He finished in 3 minutes and left. Jennifer didn't even look at him. Patricia didn't check his money. Robert didn't call it suspicious. Mrs. Henderson didn't say he needed his parents. Tom didn't say to be careful. It was so different from how they treated Michelle, and some customers noticed. Marcus, the guard, saw it and got upset. He'd seen unfairness before and knew what was happening. Sarah saw it too and started to realize how wrong this was. But Jennifer was too busy waiting for the big police to notice her mistake. If you think this story can't get more exciting, keep reading, because what happened when those officers walked in was unbelievable. When the officers got the call, Jennifer felt like she'd won a prize. Her workers clapped for her. "Jennifer saved the bank," Patricia said, smiling big. Customers agreed. "She's doing the right thing," Mrs. Henderson said. Jennifer went to Michelle and said, "Hope you enjoyed your sneaky plan." Michelle warned her again, "Ms. Jennifer, stop talking now." But Jennifer was too excited to listen. "I'll say what I want. This is my bank." Then she said the worst thing yet. I don't care about your story. This is bad money. Michelle stood up slowly, and something changed in the room. She wasn't scared. She looked strong, like she knew who she was. Then the officers walked in, and Jennifer ran to them, acting like a winner. She started telling them Michelle was tricking the bank. Officer Rodriguez stopped and looked at Michelle. Something about her made him forget Jennifer's words. Jennifer kept talking. Kid with $15,000, it's bad money. Officer Foster, his partner, looked at Michelle closely, like she recognized her. Jennifer shouted, "Take her away for tricking us?" Then Michelle spoke quietly to the officers. "Mr. Rodriguez, I think you know my mom." Officer Rodriguez's face changed to surprise and respect. "Are you Captain Williams's daughter?" Jennifer, not understanding, yelled, "Don't believe her tricks." Then something amazing happened. Officer Rodriguez stood straight and gave Michelle a big salute, like she was very important. Officer Foster did the same. The bank went super quiet. Everyone stopped talking, stopped moving, stopped everything. Jennifer mumbled, "Why are you saluting her?" Patricia's face turned white. "Oh no," she whispered. Robert stepped back, scared, realizing they'd made a mistake. Mrs. Henderson sat down, shocked. "What did we do?" Marcus, the guard, smiled a little. Finally, things were getting fair. Michelle went from being blamed to being respected. Her calm wasn't because she was hiding something. It was because she knew the truth would come out. Jennifer's world was falling apart. "This can't be true," she said. But it was true, and it was about to show everyone how wrong her unfair ideas were. The bank was so quiet you could hear your own heartbeat. Jennifer looked like her whole life was breaking, and she didn't even know the biggest part yet. Officer Rodriguez started talking. "Captain Maria Williams," he said with a voice full of respect. "She's a hero who saved people in a faraway place and got special awards for bravery. Right now, she's working with important police to stop bad people who trick banks." Jennifer's face got even paler. She couldn't believe it. Officer Rodriguez kept going. "And this amazing young girl helps our police team. She's so smart, she finds clues that help catch bad guys. Our team asked for her help because she's that good." Those words hit the bank like a big wave. Patricia gasped. Robert backed away like he'd been hit. Jennifer looked like she might fall over. "No, this isn't real," she whispered. Then Officer Foster said something that made Jennifer's day even worse. "The Williams family owns a big part of this bank. They've been great customers for over 10 years. Captain Williams told other Army families to come here because she thought this bank was kind to them." That word "thought" felt heavy, like a warning. Then something super special happened, like in a movie. The big screen in the bank turned on, and there was Captain Maria Williams, live from far away. She was in her Army uniform, with all her awards shining. Other soldiers behind her stopped working to watch, knowing something big was happening. When Captain Williams saw Michelle in the glass room and understood what had happened, her face showed pride in her daughter and anger at how she was treated. Officer Foster stepped up and said, "Ma'am, we're so sorry for what your daughter went through today. This isn't how Army families should be treated." The bank workers looked ashamed. Patricia covered her face, feeling bad. Robert tried to hide, knowing his job might be in trouble. Customers who had agreed with Jennifer were embarrassed. Tom tried to delete his phone posts praising Jennifer. Mrs. Henderson looked like she wanted to disappear. But Michelle? She stayed calm and strong. Even with officers saying sorry and her mom on the screen, she didn't brag. She looked at Officer Rodriguez and said, "Please make sure this is written down so no other Army family gets treated like this." Then came the moment Jennifer was scared of. Michelle reached into her bag and pulled out a special card. Not her tutoring one, but one that made people gasp. "Miss Jennifer," Michelle said, her voice strong and clear. "You're done working here, right now." Jennifer panicked. "You can't fire me. You're just a kid. I was keeping the bank safe." But Michelle stood tall. "My family owns part of this bank. You're out for being unfair and breaking rules." Officer Rodriguez added, "There might be bigger problems here. We're going to look into how you treated an Army family. It could mean serious trouble." Jennifer's world broke completely. She realized her job wasn't just in trouble, it was gone forever. All her years working, all her dreams, gone because she judged Michelle unfairly. The other workers tried to act like they hadn't helped Jennifer. Patricia and Robert whispered, trying to save themselves. But then something wonderful happened that showed there are good people too. Sarah, who had tried to tell Jennifer about Michelle's special family, spoke up. I kept saying to check the records. The Williams family is important here. I saw everything, and Jennifer was unfair. Marcus, the guard, said, I have it all on camera. Every word, every mean thing. Amy, the young worker, said, I recorded some on my phone. I knew it was wrong, but I was scared to speak up. I'm sorry. Jennifer had to leave the bank with guards walking her out as people watched and filmed. Her job in banks was over, and everyone knew it. Her name would always be tied to this mistake, but the story wasn't done. While Jennifer was leaving, something else happened that showed how wrong she was. Remember Tyler, the boy who brought $14,000 and got no questions? While Michelle was being treated badly, the police were looking for money taken from a store 3 days before. Bad guys stole $50,000, and the officers were checking banks for that money. They had pictures of the thief. As Michelle was being proved right and Jennifer was leaving, Officer Foster saw Tyler trying to sneak out. Excuse me, can you wait? She called. When Tyler turned, both officers knew him, not because they met him, but because he was in the store's pictures. They arrested him right there for stealing. It was like the world was showing how unfair Jennifer had been. She spent hours blaming Michelle, who was honest, while Tyler, the real thief, got no questions because of how he looked. It was a big lesson. Tyler was taken away in handcuffs, looking ashamed, while Michelle stood tall with officers respecting her. People who filmed Jennifer now filmed Tyler saying, wow, he was the bad guy. We got it so wrong. Back on the screen, Captain Williams looked at Michelle and said, you acted so well, Michelle. I'm so proud to be your mom. Other soldiers on the screen nodded and saluted Michelle too. The bank's big bosses came fast, saying sorry and making new rules so this wouldn't happen again. Sarah became the new manager with a bigger job and more money for trying to do the right thing. Marcus got a bigger guard job for recording everything. Amy was put in a special training program for being brave. Jennifer never worked in a bank again. Her mistake was known everywhere, and people remembered her as the person who was unfair to an army family. But Michelle turned this bad day into something good. She started a program to teach army families about money, how to save, spend, and understand banks. It helped lots of people and taught bank workers to be kinder. Her program went to banks all over the country, and she got an award for helping others. Months later, Michelle was back to being a regular teen. Picture her at home, helping a younger kid named David with math. David's family didn't have much money, so Michelle helped him for free. I don't get why X is 5, David said, upset. Michelle smiled and explained it simply. In jeans and a ponytail, she looked like any teen, but she was special for helping others. I get it, David said, excited. You're the best. Michelle laughed and gave him a high five. You did it, David. I just helped. That's who Michelle really is. A kind, smart girl who loves math and helps others, even after a tough day. Her phone buzzed with a message from her mom. Proud of you, sweetie. Can't wait to hug you, Michelle wrote back. Love you, Mom. David just solved a hard math problem. Captain Williams, far away, smiled, knowing her daughter was amazing. This story became a big lesson for everyone. Schools showed the videos to teach kids about being fair. Companies used it to teach workers not to judge people. Parents showed it to their kids to show how to be strong when treated badly. Michelle showed that being kind and smart isn't about how old you are or what you look like. It's about how you act. Her story teaches us to treat everyone with respect because you never know how amazing they might be. If this story makes you want to be kinder to everyone, keep reading stories like this. They show how regular people can do great things when they're treated fairly.